Listen, I just have better hearing.
I
Okay.
gotta wear the swordens just to, tone down your loudness sometimes. You know what I mean?
Dang, man. Well, hey, we're live.
Hey, whoa,
Welcome
we
everybody
smelling all right? We're smelling.
to the DukNilla NFL cast. But before we get started, we have a little bit of crowning to do because
Crowning
someone
for
went
what?
2-0, and I
Oh, get out!
Amazon didn't come in time, but I made myself a crown.
No.
And it's time we crown the king with some bedazzle. Yep. My bedazzle's falling off my crown.
Did you already watch the Super Bowl? I mean, is the NFL over already? Are we done? Did I miss the Super Bowl game? And you're crowning already?
Crowning already. I'm taking the crowd. Yep. As
I told you and I told you. Touchdown.
Oh. Oof. You got all the sounds going on today.
Yeah,
okay.
I just want you to know that I am here. All right. I took the crown straight from you.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels really spicy. Dazzled it, okay?
Oh, go back to that other.
All right. That's what I did.
And you wanted to wear that?
Yep. But let me take the crown off while we do the cast. I just wanted to present the crown to myself for being the picking champ,
Picking champ is not over.
Remember how I told you before we started this? I was like, you're picking whatever team I don't pick.
Yeah.
See,
I mean, you gotta get
it. I'm gonna win regardless
for that team. We'll see.
Well, I already know the team you're not picking, and I'm taking the other team.
Yeah. So I mean, we already know that. That's
so
already done.
Have crowned myself the champ.
I know. It ain't over till after Sunday. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. With that said, let's wrap up some games here. First up, it wasn't the first game. It wasn't the first game, but first up on our board is the 49ers Rams game. And Hot Mama. These were some good games, weren't they?
They were.
This game, just
taking
taking
nice and close games. I mean, San Fran had the opportunity to win this game. They they started off strong, but second half.
San Fran's a really physical team, and when I took the Rams, this was like a hopeful I love Stafford moment, and I was just hopeful they were going to win because I love Stafford. But deep down, I'm like, dude, the Niners are physical as F. And I knew you took the Niners, and I had to take the Rams so I could take the crown.
Wow, of course you did. I mean, they're a physical team. They're an old school mentality type of team. They played hard. I think the biggest thing they were lacking was rushing. They couldn't get much rushing going. That defensive line of LA's is pretty good.
Which we're gonna get into.
Stop them. Debo only had 26 yards carried. Elijah Mitchell had 20. Jimmy ran for 4. So there was not very many yards at all in this game.
And
So
for
I
the
think that
record,
was a big thing.
we will be taking our Super Bowl picks today, but we will have an opportunity to change them next week. The once and only.
Okay.
I just think that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm telling you, I'm not changing my pick.
Nah,
it would take a
I'm
catastrophic injury for me to change my pick.
So it's
Other
and I
than
think
that,
one of the biggest things in this game too was that missed interception.
Oh man,
how could you not? How do you drop that?
A little bit of the dropsies.
A little bit of the scripted.
Get the freak out of here, man! You can't.
I had to get your reaction, but it's always in the back of my mind. It'll never leave. Okay, because this right here is what it's all about in the NFL, in any sport. 100%. Are you kidding me? It's all about the Benjamins.
I believe it is, but I don't believe it's scripted.
I'm not gonna deny it.
No way. This is too random of a game. But
it was a good game,
football wise. Rams looked really good. I was a little worried because they had a couple injuries that I think Ramsey got taken out like one of the first 2 plays or something, but he came right back. One of their offensive linemen, I can't remember his name. It's like Witt something or something like that, but he's like 40 years old. He's like a left tackle, really good, but this will be his last year, I'm sure.
What's wrong with 40 years old? You act like he's dying.
Look at that Graham.
He's in his wheelchair. Get out of here with
he's
the
in a walker.
Stuff. Jeez.
For the record, Amazon Duck a walker.
45. He was 45 and retired.
Yeah, and we were all thinking he was an old man.
He isn't.
You're the one who sent me the Brady meme earlier.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean I believe he's an old man. He could probably go for another 5 years if he wanted to.
No way. Oh,
100%. Come on. We're going to see this. We're going to see this continue. We might not see 45 very often anymore, but we're going to see some of these quarterbacks going into their 40s. More than we've ever had.
I think the pocket passing ones, yes. I don't think these running QBs will make it that. Like Josh Allen,
no.
I think he's a great QB, but he can't. Part of his game, unless he could develop into an even better pocket passer. I think he's a good pocket passer already, but I don't think he's the type that can reach his 40. I think Joe Burrow is.
Yeah, well, I mean, Josh Allen's sitting out of the Pro Bowl because of that specific reason. I mean that. We're getting a little bit of college put into the NFL now because of that. But
I meant to say this at the beginning of the show. What we'll be talking about? We'll talk about some Pro Bowl snubs.
Yes.
Talk about the halftime show.
Yes. Yeah. I think let's go to the passing on Rams. Odell did pretty well. As much as I hate to see, I don't hate the guy. I just think
it hurts for you to say that. I can feel the pain coming out.
Here's my take on Odell Beckham. Okay, when everything is going well, he's all for it. We heard some. I don't know. I sent you. I think I may have tagged you or something on Twitter. A sideline when Odell came up to Nick Chubb when he was on the Browns, and he said, "Man, I want." And Odell says, "Man, I want to score touchdowns." What does Chubb say? I want to win games. So his first mentality, Odell is not about winning games. He's about what can be best for him, how many touchdowns he can get, how many yards he can get. He's not the all team player that everybody thinks he is, or everybody says he is.
Hey,
they say it because they don't want to ruin his name and reputation. We know he's a great player, right? We know it is. In the times of distress, in the times of hardship, he's not great. He's not a great player. He's not a great teammate. We've seen that. So I'm glad he did well here. I'm more glad that Cooper Kupp was even better and freaking dominant like nobody's business. And Cooper Kupp is amazing, individual in that person. He's doing great because he's got a great quarterback with Stafford, right? And in this situation, and he's a great route runner. He gets his, the passing, whatever it is. But I'm just saying, I'm still not sold on Odell Beckham as being a great wide receiver because I don't think he's a great teammate overall, especially in the times of hardship, and we've seen that.
I'll take your criticism of him, and I'll agree with it. But I will say, as of late, I don't agree. I think he went to a great system in L.A. where Cooper Kupp's been good even before Stafford. Just Stafford comes and puts him on the elite tier. You know, what makes Kupp really good is he's an all-around player. He can block. He blocks. It's unselfishly blocks. Mm-hmm. Early in the season, him and Robert Woods had a competition. You know, you get points per yards, but you also get points per run block. And you know, Kupp's one of the best at it. And that's what makes him good. Now, when it goes to Odell, what makes this situation perfect for him? And we talked about this last week where I said, you know, he needs to resign here. This is a perfect fit. Is he's not asked to be the number one. And what's hindered Odell is when he's the number one, he's the guy getting the double teams, sometimes the triple teams. And that means the quarterback needs to go to the number two. The number three. And, you know, when he's in LA, Kupp's definitely the number one. Odell's just reeling him in as the number two, which is making him feel warm and fuzzy. Now, let's say he re-signs with the Rams. I would be very, very interested to know how that relationship stays. Say the Rams start losing games. Does he start throwing those fits again? Give me the ball. And it's like, well, you're not open. Like, say Kupp gets hurt next year, misses some time, and he's the number one, and, you know, Robert Woods is getting all the targets. Van Jefferson's getting all the targets because he's getting the double team. Stafford is going to get his guys the ball, but he's also going to the open guy. Sometimes the open guy on the other team, but, you know, that's for tit for tat. Mm-hmm. They got to be able to catch the ball.
100% guarantee if there's any slump next year with this team and he's on this team, he will be the issue. 100%. We've seen it in every team he's been on.
I will say we have to
guarantee it.
We have to give the head coach of the LA Rams some mad props because look at this team. This team is a bunch of like kind of drama-filled guys, big personalities. This team is filled with huge personalities, differing personalities. And they've been able to keep it, you know, going. Ramsey could throw a fit. Just throw fits, mm-hmm. You know. Odell's now in there. He can do that. Sometimes we can see this destroy locker rooms. I think Stafford's a great leader and can bring this team together. I think Cooper Kupp with that receiving room can keep it together, can keep Odell in there, I hope. I think Ramsey with the backfield they have, he's being kept in check. You know, you got Donald in there, great leader. You have Von Miller now in there, even bigger presence and a bigger leader. I am all for this team, and I'm really impressed. I was very critical very beginning of the year towards the end that this team was not clicking at all. On paper, some of the biggest names, but they can't click. They can't play together, you know? But this game, it looked like they were finally clicking. And and we'll get into when we take our picks, Super Bowl presence. The amount of players that have been to the Super Bowl on this team versus the other team is off the charts. Super Bowl experience on this team is.
I think sometimes Super Bowl experience is overhyped.
I disagree completely.
Let me give my take here, and then you can disagree all you want. What I'm saying is, it's another game. I think what happens when it's overhyped is when people come to it for the first time and they're in awe. They're in awe of who's on the other team. They're on awe of the scenario they're in. If you look at it at other players that were their first year that they played in a Super Bowl and won, like, you know, Tom Brady is one example to that, but he's won multiple, you know, but his first one, it wasn't an awestruck type of mentality of feel. If you're going into the game with that mentality, you're going to lose. You know, I think what really helps the Bengals in this scenario is that they have a Joe Burrow that seems to be pretty pretty good. I mean, yeah, he's got a little show. He tries to do some stuff here and there, but I think he's got a good head on his shoulders in the sense that he's a good player. I think it's going to be a close game. More than some people think, that they're going to get blown out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's. I think it's overhyped, and I'll always believe that. So that you can't really change my mind on that.
All right. Well, here's what I'm gonna say. Cam Newton goes to the Super Bowl. Cam Newton lit the season up that year with the Panthers. Goes to the Super Bowl. Completely crumbles to the Broncos.
It's Cam Newton, but you're okay. You got another example that
Cam Newton was an all-star that season. That MVP season. Like he was great. He crumbles in the Super Bowl. The best example I have is head coaching. Sean McVay, first Super Bowl, gets completely outcoached by Bill Belichick. Completely outcoached. You cannot tell me Super Bowl experience.
I don't agree. It's any game. It's a one-game scenario. Any team can just have an off night, no matter if it's a Super Bowl, first game of the season, preseason, midseason, in the first playoff game. It can all be. It's more than just. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But I don't agree with hype of something like that.
Here's what I'll say.
It's a one-game play. If it was more than a playoff than that, then it'd be different.
No, we all agree that going from college to the NFL speeds up the game. Players throughout the NFL universally agree that going from the regular season to the playoffs, the game speeds up. You cannot convince me that going from the playoffs to the Super Bowl does not speed up. The game speeds up. The game is different
because here's
the thing: when you go from regular season to playoffs, we're still playing football, but players universally agree the game speeds up, and experience matters. It's not the give all take, but it matters. And when I look at the Rams with the amount of experience they have, that compared to the Bengals. Who do the Bengals have with Super Bowl experience? Probably count on one hand.
Sure.
Playoff experience, we could probably count on two hands. No, I haven't either, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think that matters. I do. I think that's gonna. I don't even project. When we get to talk about this game, I'm gonna wait. I'll wait. I don't even think this game's gonna be close. Let's move on to the next game. Next up, we had the Bengals popping the Chiefs in the mouth. Thank God we could send the Mahomes packing. Goodbye, Mahomes.
I told you and I told you. Touchdown.
Get the Mahomes out.
Yeah, like everybody else. I don't. I think it.
This was another close game. Game went to overtime.
It's so funny how so many people hate this team because of Patrick Mahomes' fiance and brother. It drives me nuts that everybody's thought process goes towards something like that. I think it's the stupidest thing.
I think we all hate.
But that's just how social media is. It's garbage. That's just what it is. What it is. I mean, the guy's good. The guy played great. He had a start of a rough season and played awesome throughout the rest of the season and lost the game. So I don't understand the hatred for teams. We look at it. I don't like Steelers, right? But if they were in the playoffs and they're going to, that's awesome. That means our division is that much better than everybody else's division. I'm a divisional person when it comes to football. Are you done? What are you doing? Are you done?
Just listening to your bullshit.
I'm just telling you. That's how I am with the college and NFL is a little bit slight. Like and when it comes to college football, okay, as much as I despise, I'm not gonna say I hate a team because that's a strong word. As much as I despise that team up north, that Michigan team, right? I still want them to do good. I wanted them to win that game. right?
Yeah,
it's
we
the same
talk,
when
yeah.
it comes to NFL and AFC North division for me. As much as I despise Pittsburgh and even more Baltimore because of what Art Modell did to the team and taking them out of there, I still want them to win and do well, right? I still want them, if they're in the playoffs, I want them to win because that just makes our division look so much better than everybody
does that
else's.
mean are you foreshadowing that you're picking the Bengals here for the Super Bowl?
We all know who we're picking. You're over here, Matthew Stafford lover. We know where you're going. I mean, come on.
Listen, me, man, we broke up in the offseason, you know. He didn't leave me. I left him. But I'm so happy for him right now.
No,
I'm
he
so
left
freaking
you.
happy.
Is what right? So we know who you're going
it is
for.
Such a fairy tale. Like,
over here.
No, like we'll talk. I mean, we're talking about right now. I mean, like
Right.
Stafford leaving and having such good success with the Rams, it proves that the Lions, like leadership, ownership, the way they're doing things in the front, player like who they're bringing. Yeah. Yeah, but it just shows that for decades, this franchise has not been a destination to go to, doesn't know how to team build. Like, this is just more proof. I mean, I've always been I love Stafford. You know, before people were bragging about Mahomes and his different arm angles, Stafford's been doing it since he came into the league.
Right.
Like, when they were losing games, literally, they brought in an arms coach to try and get him back on mechanics. Like, you know, bringing it back in, throw the ball normal. Now he goes to the Rams, and he's still throwing him sidearm and all that. He's still looking great.
Mm-hmm.
And it proves that the Lions franchise just doesn't have it. And it's a big show of like things need to change, and I hope this new regime changes it, but I'm not seeing it. You know, it's just, it's a little bit of the we want something now. You know, we don't want to wait. I want change now. I want positive change now. But back to the Mahomes. All right, listen, I highly dislike the Mahomies, okay? And this started. Let's talk about this for a minute, okay? I need to go back, okay? I need to talk about this. Get this off my chest, okay? The Mahomies, when the Mahomies would come up to me and tell me that Mahomes was the GOAT, I broke it down. I'm like, you understand what GOAT means? Greatest of all time. Like, better than Montana, better than Brady, hell, better than anybody. GOAT. Yeah, they still agree. Patrick Mahomes go, no, sit down, Mahomes. Sit down. Put your booty down.
How many quarterbacks in the NFL can say that they won a Super Bowl, went to the Super Bowl the next year and lost
4 years in a row,
and then
right? Is it 4 years in a row?
This year, no, this would be 3 years.
It would have been 3. I think it would have been 3 years in a row.
It would be 3 years in a row, but still had a conference.
I think they've been in the conference championship 4 years in a row.
Championship, yeah. I mean, that's huge, right? Won a Super Bowl, been to 2 Super Bowls in that 4 years, won one, lost one.
Listen, Eli Manning has beaten the GOAT twice in the Super Bowl. And I still don't think Eli Manning's the top 5 quarterback of all time. I don't think he's top 10, even close. But he's won 2 rings of beating the GOAT in 2 of them.
Okay.
He's the GOAT's kryptonite. But he's still a crap quarterback. Ooh. Patrick Mahomes can have a Super Bowl on his resume.
Eli Manning and Patrick Mahomes quarterback. There's no comparison between those two.
I think Patrick Mahomes is way better. I agree. Oh, but what 100%. I'm saying is slow the roll, okay? We don't need to jump the gate and sit here and say GOAT
I'm just
status.
telling you, you're looking at a person that you think is not all that. Yet in the last 4 years, he's been all that. He's been the quarterback in this.
No, he's been who I thought he was since the beginning of this year. I have said he looks too much to make the big plays. To their credit, they adjusted, and it's why they went on that big win streak. He still showed flashes of not being the greatest, but his team helped them through it. Just like Stafford, he does some stupid plays, and his team pulls him through it. But when it came down to it, trust me, if the Chiefs win, it's probably a different story. I look stupid. I can't say this talk, but guess what? They lost, so it's my turn. Sit your homie butts down. All right, this last game, what do? Goes for the big play, throws a risky ball out, gets tipped, intercepted, game over.
Pressure, that'll do it to any quarterback. Tom Brady in that same situation probably would have did the same exact thing.
No,
anybody
I did
never would have done the same exact thing.
No
pressure, absolutely.
Mahomes, absolutely. I expect Mahomes to be better in game pressure. Under pressure, Mahomes has some things he needs to work on, but they've worked on him throughout the year with different play calls, different ways to attack a defense when they put forth that defense towards them. But he's just not. He's kind of imploded. I'm telling you right now, the Chiefs within the next 2 years are going to be the Ravens all over again.
No,
they're going to be the Seahawks in 3 years. Mark my words. Mark your calendar. The Chiefs will be the Seahawks in 3 years. I told you the Seahawks wouldn't go 500 this year, and they didn't. In 3 years, I'm telling you right now, they will have a season that doesn't go 500. Salary cap is going to bite them in the butt. They already can't pay their line. Their offensive line is getting paid. You're paying Mahomes? That money's going to start clicking in 2 years. Nope. I don't think Mahomes is. I think he's great, but I don't think he's that good. Just like I think Russell Wilson is great. But when you pay him a ton of money and not pay other players, it's not going to work.
He's great, but he's not that good. How does that make any sense?
He's great. He's just not that good. He's great, but he's not that good.
What? In 3 years, I will be checking back with this. In 3 years.
No, mark it down. You better write it down. You won't need to, because I will remind you.
Okay.
Granted, I would like to note the Chiefs were below 500 3 times this year.
Okay.
3 times. Kudos to them for picking it up and almost winning the division or the conference. Like, that's mad.
Yeah.
Mad props to Andy Reid. But you know what Andy Reid has a really bad time doing? Holding the band together.
I mean, he's pretty close to needing a walker, too. So he's not doing too great. I don't know if he'll be coaching
head
in the
coach.
Next 3 years.
I mean, Hall of Famer, first bout Hall of Fame head coach.
100%. Yep.
But I really do believe that he has not had an amazing GM keep a team together. And it's one of my biggest gripes when a team wins a Super Bowl, when you got to pay that QB. That's why I'm telling you right now, next week I'm pulling up, we're doing salary caps next week. Bengals are, I believe, they're top 10 for sure. They're top 5 for the highest available salary next year. Why? Joe Burrow's on a rookie deal. They have mad cash. This team, I said, and for the record, I said at the beginning of this year, who did I say the Browns were going to have to compete with?
The Bengals, for sure.
The Bengals. And I pointed out why. And this team is only going to get better. That much salary cap? You kidding me? Are you kidding? The only way this doesn't work is if they don't sign people. The Browns were in a similar situation, and they signed mad amounts of people. Look great. The Bengals are already great, and they can sign more players. I'm telling you, if they don't win the Super Bowl, they are going to be a hub for players to go to. And even if they win, oh my God, they're even in a better situation to repeat because of how much money they have. And Joe Burrow's not up for like 3 more years. That's insane. This is what happened with Russ. Mahomes early. The Bengals for the next 3 years are looking good. Looking nice. Now the Chiefs, not so much. We'll get it. We will get into that. All right, next up, though, let's briefly talk about the Super Bowl halftime show. I really don't care. I mean, my boy Eminem's here. I took this as a hodgepodge group of rappers.
Yeah, I honestly have no interest in it.
Yeah,
I think they go from one superstar, and then now they're bringing 5 in at one time.
What blew my mind about this was they brought 5 people in, right? They brought 5. Usually when they bring people in, they usually bring other people in anyway.
Right.
Like there's other people that have cameos, and you just like it's like the wrestling. I love me some wrestling. The Royal Rumble just happened this past weekend. They spoiled half the people coming out. They're like, oh, by the way, this like, oh, I would have been shocked.
Yeah.
Surprised. This is to me. I mean, I watch the halftime show every year. I love to criticize the halftime show. It's one of my all-time favorite things to criticize.
Just to see a little bit, but sometimes they get a little too gaudy for me in our family, so we try to stay away from that.
By far, my favorite. There's 2 of my favorites. Katy Perry, when she came out on that gigantic zebra or lion, whatever the hell it was bagged. It was the most hilarious thing ever. And then Lady Gaga, when she jumped from the ceiling and she had to do that shimmy to get down.
I missed them.
No, actually the shark, which got way more attention than Katy Perry during the Super Bowl. I love the Super Bowl halftime show gaffes. Just the mess ups, the things that aren't supposed to happen.
Let's talk about the commercials. That's what I'm kind of interested in. See if there's any good commercials.
The commercials. I mean, we have
all
definitely
this stuff going on.
You know what? I think
who knows?
The week after, so we should discuss our favorite commercials.
Yeah,
for sure. Definitely, we will talk about that. But yeah, halftime show. I'm not really too big on. Yeah. All right. Next up, before we talk to Super Bowl, let's talk about the Pro Bowl gaffes. If you want to get into some of the Pro Bowl, who made it?
Snubs, you mean?
Yeah.
What you're talking about? Not gaffes. I don't know where you got that from, Pro Bowl snubs. I mean, we all seen the list of who's going to make it. You want to talk about that first here?
Yep.
All right. AFC. So I'll just go over the start, our quarterbacks. Quarterbacks, Justin Herbert got in. He's the starter, actually, for LA. Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Running back starter.
Real quick. Hold on. Let's talk about that. So, AFC quarterbacks, right?
Yep.
Herbert,
yeah,
Mahomes.
I'm a little surprised Herbert got the start on this.
Was Joe Burrow named and just didn't go?
No.
So they just straight up snubbed him.
That's in our snub list. That's one of the top.
Well, let's go through each. We'll go through each position.
Yeah. So quarterback. This is AFC. So we'll start AFC first.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We'll go through each. Yeah. We'll go through quarterbacks. We
got those
running back,
three.
Whatever.
Running backs.
Hold on. Let's do what receiver or what other quarterbacks do we feel got snubbed? Josh Allen.
Josh Allen did not get snubbed. He pulled out.
Okay, so he pulled out.
He was on it, but he got pulled out, and I think someone else may have got put in. But I'm not sure if it was pulled in or if it's 3 only, or if it just was 4 and they didn't pull another one.
I think we can make an argument for a Mac Jones.
But
at the same time, I think Mahomes,
we'd have to
Jackson,
look at stats
and Herbert. I think that's probably the right 3. Other than Burrow should be in
how
there.
Many games? How many games was Lamar hurt for?
I think Lamar makes it because he was the team,
Yeah,
doing
but
what he did.
He was out for a while.
I agree.
To snub Burrow and put Lamar in, I think that's a big. Unless, because from what I've seen on the snub list, it is that Burrow did get snubbed, so he wasn't even on the list. Like it wasn't even like since he's in the Super Bowl. He's sitting out now and then Lamar was put in for him. It was not like that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go to running backs, or you want to go?
No, go ahead. No running backs. Sorry.
Okay. So running backs starter Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he's leading the NFL in rushing. Then we got Nick Chubb from the Browns, Joe Mixon, Cincinnati. He probably won't be placing. And he says right, Najee Harris, Pittsburgh Steelers replaces Mixon. So there is just 3. There's not 4, but Joe Mixon is in there, so he'll get pay or whatever it is. You get that extra incentive or something like that for being in the Pro Bowl, even though he's not playing in it. I think that's
Jonathan
good picks.
Taylor's in there?
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's starting, and then Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb. So Taylor, Chubb, Mixon.
Mixon is being replaced by Najee Harris.
Najee Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. That seems fine to me.
Mm-hmm. And then wide receivers, we got Tyreek Hill. He's starting, Kansas City. Jamar Chase is in there as well as a starter. And then you have Stephon Diggs from Buffalo, Keenan Allen, L.A., and then Deontay Johnson is from Pittsburgh replacing Jamar Chase. Because Chase is in the playoffs.
So say those 3 again.
So you got Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, and Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson is replacing Jamar Chase because Jamar Chase is in the Super Bowl. So you're 4 wide receivers.
By team. I think I'm okay with it. The
Johnson
I'm not sure
one
feels real.
Johnson.
Yeah, that one feels. I feel like there's got to be a better receiver, but
yeah, we'll see. We'll look at our snub list after this when we go through these, and then we can see maybe there was some that we're missing. Tight ends, we got Mark Andrews starting from Baltimore, and then Travis Kelce. I like that picks. There was someone else that was doing a lot in the playoffs. I can't remember his name.
I mean, I feel like Derrick Henry was pretty good this year.
No, that's
Mike. What is it? Gecki?
Derrick Henry is in the NFC.
Not Derrick Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry. Yes, Hunter Henry. You said Derrick Henry. That threw me off. And Derrick Henry is not in the NFC. He's AFC. Yeah, that's maybe who I was thinking. Offensive tackles, we got Rashawn Slater from the LA Chargers, Orlando Brown, Kansas City Chiefs. Those are 2 starters, and then you have Deion Hawkins, Buffalo Bills. I think offensive line is going to be the hardest of anything to judge. You've really got to be having somebody watching those positions and watching what they're doing. Are they getting through the defensive end? The D tackles getting through to get the sacks. Are they putting pressure on their defensive line? I think there's a lot to play on that. And there's some other guys that probably could have made it into. But I think that's probably the hardest one to get in there as well.
And I admit I know pretty little about offensive line individual stats. So this is
a lot
market.
It's a lot judged on if they gave up tackles. I mean, whether they give up tackles
pressures,
for loss,
tackles,
or sacks and whatever it is, what have you. But so offensive guards starters are Quentin Nelson from the Colts and Joel Bitonio from the Cleveland Browns. And then you have Wyatt Teller there as well. Roger Saffold from Tennessee is replacing Quentin Nelson. So I don't know if Quentin Nelson got hurt or if he's sitting out. I don't know the details on that, but he is getting replaced by Roger Saffold. So I think Roger Saffold then starts. I don't know. I don't know if it's Roger Saffold or Teller. So anyway. We'll keep going. Center is Corey Lindsey from the LA Chargers. LA Chargers got quite a few of their guys from the line and overall in this, which is really good for them. And then Ryan Kelly from the Colts. Then we have the fullback Patrick Ricard from the Baltimore Ravens. Defense. We have Myles Garrett and Max Crosby starting on defensive ends, and then we have Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals, which of course he's not going to be in there. But there's no replacement for that. It's showing. Interior linemen are DeForest Buckner from the Colts, Chris Jones, Kansas City. I think good picks on those. Cameron Hayward from Pittsburgh. Where is TJ Watt? He's an outside linebacker. He's an outside linebacker?
Yep.
I thought he was a defensive end.
Well, 3-4.
He plays a lot of DN. Yeah. Okay. So they play 3-4. Gotcha. So he's pretty much on the line all the time, it seems like.
Yeah, it's weird when you play 3-4. You're a defensive end, but you're not a linebacker.
And then Jeffrey Simmons is in there from Tennessee and replacing Jones. So Chris Jones must be injured or not playing in the Pro Bowl as well. Outside linebacker, I'm assuming they're injured when they have it here, because if remember we saw the list with Josh Allen wasn't even on the list. Yeah. Even though we knew he pulled out of it, they didn't have him on this list. And this is the list through the NFL.com website too. So outside linebacker TJ Watt from Pittsburgh, Joey Bosa's in there, Los Angeles. See, even Joey Bosa, they must play 3-4 as well, because I've always seen him on the line. And Bosa's not playing. I'm pretty sure he got hurt. Harold Landry, Tennessee Titans is sitting in with him, and then Matt Judon from the Patriots. Then we got inside middle linebackers Darius Leonard and Denzel Perryman, and then cornerbacks J.C. Jackson from the Patriots, Xavier Howard from Miami, Denzel Ward from Cleveland, Kenny Moore, Colts, and then free safety is Kevin Byard. Strong safety Derwin James and Tyrann Mathieu. Special teams got Luke Rhodes from long snapper, AJ Cole punter, Justin Tucker, place kicker, best kicker in the NFL. I just can't believe he cannot miss. What is his percentage like in his
over
career?
the
like
Bengals 97? Guy? McPerfect?
97, 98? Yeah, he's a rookie.
McPerfect?
He's a rookie. He's got a long ways to go to get to what Justin Tucker is able to do.
Bro, he is McPerfect, baby.
Return specialist is Devin DuVernay from Baltimore, and then special teamer. What is special teamer? Matthew Slater from New England. Whatever special teamer is that.
That's like kick return, punt return.
The guy. No, that's not even the returner. I don't know. It might be. Anyway, but that's our AFC.
We don't do punts in the Pro Bowl, bro.
We'll go into the NFC. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Kick returner is just a glorified position. He's the one that like, tackles, congratulations.
He does the best tackling. He gets down the field, has the most impact on special teams. I don't know. Anyway, NFC. Aaron Rodgers is a starter for the he's denoted as a starter. Tom Brady's on there as well. Tom Buck for the Buccaneers. Kyler Murray. Kirk Cousins is on there.
Kirk Cousins
is on there.
Kirk Cousins.
He's replacing Rodgers. Yeah. Russell Wilson is on there. He's replacing Brady.
Russell's on there?
Yep.
Russ.
Yeah, that's our picks for quarterbacks. Is that? I mean, look at our snubs on that. I think we're missing out on.
We'll go for a couple here. Hold on. We're just going to name Dak. Stafford.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray's on there.
He's on there. Dak and Staff. Yep. What?
Yeah. Right.
I'm thinking Jalen Hurts or not.
Nah, if you're gonna do that, you might as well say Jimmy G.
Over Cousins?
You might say Jimmy G then. Kirk Cousins had good stats.
I would say Jimmy G over Cousins.
No, I mean, look, just because you're saying that, I want to pull up Cousins' stats for the year. Because I'm kind of curious if it is any. Oh, come on, don't give me. I don't want career. I want it just for the year. He had over 44,000 yards this year. He averaged almost 8 yards. He had 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I mean, that's pretty good. Compared to his last year, he had 35 and 13. So, I mean, overall, his rate is at a 98.6. He's been pretty consistent in his quarterback rating. I mean, this is the lowest he's been in about 6 years on 98. So, I mean, the lowest he's ever been was 58, but that was back in Washington. That Washington football team got a new name, by the way.
The Commanders?
The Commanders. There's got to be a lot of weird names coming out of that. That's all I'm going to leave it to.
I know a lot of people were saying, like, how could you hate the Commanders when there's teams that are literally called the Packers?
I mean, I like the name Commanders. I have no problem with it. I think it's a great name. I just think you're going to have a lot of memes coming out of that name here pretty soon, and if you haven't already. We'll leave it there. So let's go to the running backs. We have Dalvin Cook starting, James Conner from the Cardinals, and then Alvin Kamara from the Saints. Wide receivers, of course, Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams. Starters, Justin Jefferson from Minnesota, Debo from San Fran, and Mike Evans
Debo
from
for
Tampa
sure.
Bay. Mike Evans is replacing Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I
Tight
think
ends.
running backs. You didn't say Antonio Gibson, did you?
No.
That doesn't seem right.
Nope.
What about Leonard Fournette?
Him.
Did you say Leonard Fournette?
Nope, he's not on that list either.
What?
Tight end, you got George Kittle from San Fran starting, and Kyle Pitts from the Falcons. Atlanta Falcons actually have one.
Kyle Pitts? Pitts?
Yeah.
Pitts?
Pitts pretty much did everything.
Hawkinson from the Lions should be in there.
I don't know about that.
Zach Ertz could be in there. Any of the Dallas tight ends could be in. Oh, I am not over this.
I mean, I don't know about that.
Gronk?
Oh. Yeah, you're right. He's not on this list at all. Offensive tackles. Well, let's move to offensive tackles.
All right. This is where I shut up and listen because I don't know.
Trent Williams from San Fran, which I think he's a really good tackle. I wish the Browns would have picked him up. Tristan Wirfs from Tampa Bay are the two starters. Tyron Smith from Dallas. DJ Humphries is replacing Smith. O'Neal is replacing Wirfs. Brian O'Neal. And Dwayne Brown is replacing Williams. So all the top three are not in there. And you have people that I don't know in there. Offensive guards. We have Zach Martin, the starting for Cowboys. Brandon Scherf for the Washington Commanders. And
they're not Commanders yet, bro.
I'm not saying what they're Washington. They say it's Commanders, so that's what it is. And Tampa Bay centers are Jason Kelsey from Philly, and Ryan Jensen from Tampa Bay. We got fullback Kyle Justiak. Is that how it is? Justiak. Let me butcher his name some more. From San Fran.
I just said it in my head. I can't remember it.
I know. Yeah, there you go. I don't remember.
Yep,
anyway,
move on.
Defensive end Nick Bosa from San Fran, Brian Burns from the Panthers, and Cameron Jordan from the New Orleans Saints.
My chair keeps sinking more and more.
I see you getting down pretty low over there.
I was like, I'm just gonna go to the corner of the screen here, and I'm really low down here.
We're almost done. Interior lineman Aaron Donald is in there from L.A. Jonathan Allen from Washington Commanders. Kenny Clark, Green Bay Packers. And then we have Javon Hargrave is replacing Clark from the Philadelphia Eagles. And Vita Vea is from Tampa Bay replacing Donald.
Vita Vea!
Outside linebackers, Chandler Jones from Cardinals, Robert Quinn from the Bears, and Shaquille Barrett from Tampa Bay. And then middle linebackers, Michael Parsons from Dallas, Bobby Wagner from the Seahawks, and Devin White from Tampa Bay replacing Wagner. I think that's the first person we mentioned from Dallas on their defense, right? Nobody from offense.
You say Smith?
And then
you said the corner, right?
Michael
or
Diggs.
I mean Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, he's next. Cornerback Trayvon Diggs as well from Dallas. He's starting. So is Jalen Ramsey, and then Darius Slay from Philly, and then Marshawn Lattimore from New Orleans Saints. There's nobody denoted to replace. Oh wait, never mind. Take that back. We go to the free safeties. Antoine Winfield from Tampa Bay will be replacing Diggs, and then Quandre Diggs is the starter from Seattle Seahawks.
Damn, Quandre Diggs, ex-Lion for the record.
And strong safety, Budda Baker, Arizona. Harrison Smith from the Vikings. And then special teams, we got long snapper Josh Harris from the Falcons. Punter Brian Anger from Dallas Cowboys. Matt Gay from the LA Rams. For place kicker, return specialist is Jakeem Grant from Chicago, and then special teamer JT Gray. There's nobody on the list though for place kicker. I'm guessing they're not kicking anything anyways, but there's no replacement for that.
We're kicking in the Pro Bowl, boys.
Well, there's no field goals going off in that. All right, let's get on the. You want to do the
snubs? Let's do the snubs. All right, yeah, go ahead. Look out! I gotta sit up. Hold on. You go on. Go on. Let me.
All right. You want me to start with it?
Yeah, go.
So one of the big snubs, I guess, what I'm seeing from there talking about NFL.com is saying David Andrews, the New England Patriots center, was snubbed on
center,
this
so
list.
that sucks.
I think this is a big snub. I think this team has come a long ways with a rookie quarterback in there and did pretty well with the center, doing a lot more on his plate, specifically because it is a rookie quarterback.
And a lot of times offensive linemen will get sacks allowed when you have a rookie QB in there because they'll hold the ball too long.
Right.
And that
right.
They get ticked for that.
And so maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. Next on that list is Joe Burrow. I think this is a big snub. I think he's going to take this to heart. Like most quarterbacks do.
Joe Cool.
Like a Tom Brady 6th round pick. Maybe not as drastic as that. You know what I mean? But it's that same type of thought and mentality. Like,
can we talk about this
I just made it to the Super Bowl.
Can we talk about Joe Cool and his cigar?
Dude.
Oh, my God.
And
damn it.
his Dwayne Johnson lookalike. Right? Did you see that? With his black turtleneck and gold chain on. And it had his, something on it. They showed a replica of him, and even Dwayne Johnson even tweeted on it. It was hilarious. I was like, at first, I'm like, when we started doing this kind of stuff, it kind of like bugged me because I think the reason why is because I'm such a big Browns fan and having two teams in Ohio, and then this team just crapping on, even though we beat them both games. Of course, the second game, Burrow wasn't playing. But, that didn't matter. We won it. It's an NFL game. I don't care. We won.
We won. We beat the champs. We beat them.
Yeah, we beat the champs, right? But this is a big snub. I think this is a really big snug. Snuggie. We need a snuggie.
Oh, I think so, too.
Next on this list is Austin Eckler, Los Angeles Chargers running back. We didn't mention him earlier. One of the most important players in any team's offense in the NFL, it says.
Yeah.
Unlike last season, when he missed 6 games, the Chargers have been able to include him in their game plans all season. I think that's big.
Who was?
He was 6th in the NFL in combined yards this season.
Who was the AFC's running backs again?
Here, I'll pull it up. Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, and Najee Harris.
I think he did. I definitely think he's above Najee. I actually think he's above Joe Mixon as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it was just based on the amount of yards. It says Joe Mixon got the nod over Eckler thanks to Mixon's rushing total of 1,094 yards to Eckler's 789. But Eckler has outperformed him in scrimmage yards by 1,347 to 1,298. And total touchdowns, Mixon has 14. And second to only Jonathan Taylor in total touchdowns. Yeah, so yeah. I think this was because he was 10 touchdowns. He had 10 touchdowns. Austin Eckler on rushing touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor had 17. He had the second most. So yeah, this was a tough one. This was a close one. Here's your boy you were talking about earlier too, Leonard Fournette, not getting in.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette is just a dominating presence. I think a lot of times stats can hold a little bit behind. And I think Leonard Fournette's one of those guys that's big time as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was averaging a career best at 4.5 yards per carry, which is pretty good. This guy, I don't know who did this list. I didn't even see his name. He said, I'd replace James Conner, who made the Pro Bowl on his touchdowns total, and the stunning nature of his play in 2021 with Fournette, whose importance to Tampa Bay was on display after he exited what became a shutout loss to New Orleans.
I would even replace him with Kamara or Connor. Kamara missed some games this year.
Yeah. Yep. He's been kind of on that injury list, the last few years, hasn't he?
And he really wasn't that big a flash. So, yeah, I definitely would put Leonard Fournette in there.
Another guy that was on that snub is Chris Godwin from Tampa Bay, wide receiver.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Here's why I don't. Debo Samuel is probably the best. He should probably be number one. Devontae Adams deserves to be there. And then Justin Jefferson is definitely probably higher. So, and Cooper Kupp, like those four. I don't think he's better than those four. Now,
I mean, he had
if we're talking about
receiving
replacements,
yards,
then
he had 1,100 receiving yards for the second time in his career in 2021, and he played the perfect complementary role to Mike Evans. It says in Tampa Bay's loaded offense, ending his season ranked 5th in receiving yards. I mean, even though he tore his ACL in the last game, it's more of a honor ceremonial than anything. Which I think. I
mean, honestly, I think Mike Evans would have been higher than him anyway. So I don't see him fit. I don't see it as big as a snub. I really don't. I'm not saying he's not a great player, but I just don't. I don't think it's a snub.
Right. Derrick Henry's on this list. Running back.
I don't think King Henry, being injured half the year, warrants him to be in. But I would say that with Kamara, he doesn't deserve to be in either, and he is in. So if our standard is we bring people in that miss like half the season, then yes, it's a snub. But I don't see it as a snub.
I mean, Derrick Henry was 5th still in rushing in the NFL, even with his injury, and he was 4th in rushing touchdowns.
If Kamara makes it, I don't understand why he didn't make it. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yannick Ngakoue, Las Vegas Raiders edge. They had him on that list of not making it. His counterpart running mate was Max Crosby, which did make it.
Still haven't said my boy yet.
It's 16.3%, and Crosby's is 14.8%. So I mean, QB pressure rate, Ngakoue had a better one than that. The reason why Crosby has been better against the run and a more complete defender, of course.
I think Crosby is
right there with him. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really understand that one too much. I don't think that's
Max Crosby's. He's there. He deserves to be there.
We'll get your boys down the list. We got a few more here.
Oh man, how many more we got? Jesus.
Kenny Nwangwu. We'll go through these a little bit quicker. Kenny Nwangwu from he's the kick return for the Vikings. Kind of got a snub, I guess. He must have did okay. Cordell Patterson had a decent year for the Falcons. Running back, kind of all-around player, right? He did a lot more. He had combined total yards of 1,421.
He's another one. That's
pretty big.
He is another one. I see him better than Kamara. I see him better than James Conner. I mean, Conner might be a stretch, but definitely better than Kamara.
Yep. Next on the list, Jeffrey Simmons, interior D-line for Tennessee Titans. He lost out on Pro Bowl nod to more recognizable names, is what it's saying. If I had to pick a player to replace, it would have been DeForest Buckner, as Simmons had outperformed Buckner in every advanced metric: run stiffs, stops, QB pressures, QB pressure percentage, and sacks. I mean, so right there, I don't understand. You know what I mean? If they're getting all these different stats, he's better than the guy that made it.
That's what's sad to say. It
shouldn't be based on the name. It shouldn't be based on your name.
Pro Bowl feels like it's just a popularity
good old boys clubhouse mentality, right? You know what I mean? It's like if you made it, you keep. They try to get you to keep going. Justin Simmons, safety for Denver Broncos, was snubbed out of there. And then your boy, Matthew Stafford, is snubbed. And I would like to read. I want to read this part.
Give it to me,
Tom
baby.
Brady and Aaron Rodgers certainly deserve their Pro Bowl nods, but the choice of Kyler Murray over Stafford is interesting. Murray has been in the MVP conversation for much of 2021, though he might have fallen out of it in recent weeks. Yet Stafford has a better statistical resume than Murray. Stafford's Rams are also right on the heels of the Cardinals in the race for the NFC West, and Stafford outplayed Murray in their most recent meeting, which came as a Pro Bowl voting was closing. There's no doubt, however, that Stafford's move to Los Angeles has elevated in the Rams in both prestige and performance. So, I think he should have got it. I don't know why he didn't get to.
Yeah,
but to get a
Kyler
snub
Murray,
from that,
I think, is a really good quarterback, and he played very well at the beginning of the year. But he started he was injured. That should take some points off, and then you come back, and they did not play very good when he came back.
Yep. And then Patrick Surtain, the second Denver cornerback, didn't make it in. And then we have AJ Tyrell, the Atlanta Falcons cornerback as well, had a good year. And then my boy, J.C. Tretter, the center for the Cleveland Browns, and also the president of the NFLPA, did not make it. He got snubbed. Unbelievable. He has a rock-solid PFF grade higher than both Andrews and Pro Bowler Ryan Kelly, and has been an integral part of one of the league's best rushing attacks. Well, until recent weeks, when defenses began focusing much on their passing game on stopping the run, blah, blah, blah. It didn't hurt. It hurt, too, that we didn't have Kareem Hunt, for most of the season as well. But so that was the snub list. There was other ones on the consider. Nobody that sticks out that we are surprised. I mean, Kirk Cousins, I guess, was on there. But he was in. He did get put in. I think so. This list might have came out, prior to what all was going on or something, or been updated. Because Kirk Cousins is in there, he got replaced with one of somebody else. So, but yeah, that's what we had for Pro Bowls this week, right? This Sunday.
Well, yeah, I am so excited for the Pro Bowl. There is nothing more exciting this Sunday than the Pro Bowl. Probably Hawaii, but I don't know. Could be in Florida. Who knows?
Let's look.
I think it's Florida.
I'm kind of curious because they keep changing
or
it.
Vegas. Who knows? Let's be honest. Do we care where it is? It's the most exciting thing I love. All right, here's what I love about the Pro Bowl. I love when you get your team, like you get your AFC, NFC team,
and Las Vegas.
All have different helmets on. That's the coolest thing to me. They go to sit down the line. You see all their different team helmets. Just looks so good.
I just want to see a bunch of orange ones. That's all I want to see. I don't care about anybody else.
You don't want to go back to Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders doing a draft?
No. Oh my God.
You don't want to draft players and they don't care about playing?
Yeah, it gets a little ridiculous.
Even though I will admit, it got a little chippy at the end, which was, was like a, finally, whoa, yeah.
Right.
And then their coach just came and told them, like, hey, we ain't here to do that. We ain't here to do that. Calm down.
I don't want anybody getting hurt on my dime. Come on my watch.
Well, that's the Pro Bowl snubs and hubs.
Yep.
I want to jump in before we get into talking about the Super Bowl. Tom Brady officially announced his retirement. I would like to give my hot take on this. I believe that family matters, and that led to his decision. But what I really believe also added a lot of weight to the situation was Tampa Bay's expected salary cap for next year, and I do not think they were going to be able to keep players that Brady would have wanted. I think it was getting to that point of the time where players are getting paid those big dollars and we got to make some cuts. And I don't think Brady was ready to deal with it again. I think everything else, the drama from last year, Bruce Arians, I think from reports is a bit of a wearing guy. He's no Bill Belichick, but a bit of wearing guy. And yeah. I think that had a lot to do with it.
I agree. I think it was more that than it was family. I think if it was a different situation, they were coming back with everybody again like they did, and coming back in the same situation, you probably might see him back again.
Yeah.
But yes, I think that was one of the big reasons.
I mean, they franchise tag Chris Godwin this year. They barely signed Shaquille Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they luckily brought back Antonio Brown at the time. When you're talking, like, he's probably losing Chris Godwin this year. The Bucs might not let him go now because they got more cap space, not having Brady. Gronk's probably going with him. I do not. If Gronk comes back and plays again, I would be stunned. I would be shocked.
Yeah. Right.
It would be the biggest shocker this year if he came back and played without Brady. I just don't foresee that. He's probably leaving with Brady. So I think this team's going to have more money, but they still are really strapped for cash, which, again, next week we will get into salary cap, what the actual number is and what the projected number is for where teams are at. Because, look, if you look at it next year, you're like, oh, my God, my team has like $100 million. And then you're like, oh, wait, I have to re-sign my QB, a running back, and a DN? I have only $20 million now.
Right.
So, yeah, we will definitely be getting into that. But with that said, unless you got something else stuck?
Nope, that's it.
Let's get into a bit of the Super Bowl here.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's start off with the pick here, okay? Before we get into it, this is not our final pick for the record. We will be allowed to switch. Next week before the Super Bowl, we will get one last chance if we feel it'll go different. But I'll let you, Duck, choose. Would you, because you do not have the crown.
The crown. I'm okay with that, without that crown.
You do not have. Listen, my crown didn't come from Amazon in time, okay? I almost went to Burger King and got a crown, but I had, I should have because it's bedazzled Lions hat.
The one from McDonald's would have been way better choice. Okay.
All right. Well,
you pick. You get to pick.
All right. So I get to pick first.
Yep.
All right. Well, I've given a little bit of my, my shindig on where I think this is going. I think the Rams have the experience. I think they have the players that could do it. I think their defensive line is better than the Bengals' offensive line is not good. The compared to the Chiefs' defense, the Rams is 3 times better. Joe Burrow, though, showed he could run out. He could run. And he ran for his life against the Chiefs, and it worked. He ain't doing that against the Rams. He might get a couple runs, but going down. And I think Stafford got a lot to prove. Pro Bowl snub. Couldn't win a playoff game. Won a playoff game. Well, the 49ers just beat the Rams all the time. Beats the Rams. Takes out the GOAT. This is his year. I mean, this is his fairy tale dream. Probably going to retire after this year. Definitely not. But, he's got like a couple $100 million reasons not to. But I think this really is their year. I'm taking the Rams. And, Duck, I have to ask what your pick is, because if you take the Rams, I get to cement the crown.
I don't know. I can't have that.
So do you just tell me that you think the Rams are going to win while taking the Bengals? Do you betray yourself that much as a Browns fan to take the Bengals?
I'm going with the Bengals for sure. And
is this solely because you don't want? I told you at the beginning. I told you at the beginning before we started the cast, you were gonna be forced to take the team I don't take.
Oh, I know.
And you're like, no, I don't think I am. I just want to have it.
No, I knew who you.
Then I put on that show, and you're like, no.
Yeah,
no.
Listen.
Put your bedazzle down.
So, I believe it's going to be a close game, okay? Would I like to see LA win because of Stafford only? Sure, that's it. Nobody else, right? Nobody else. That's the only reason why, right?
Mm-hmm.
But would I love to see a young quarterback come in here in the second year and take down an experienced team, like you're saying, in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, not quarterback-wise, but overall the rest of the team. I would love to see that. I think that would be huge. That'd be huge for Ohio, and Kentucky, because it's on the board. Kentucky, whatever. It's not my team, but it's an Ohio team. It's AFC North.
I love that you're selling yourself to take this pick. You're
look,
like, I'm going to sell myself. The Rams are definitely not the second team in a row to host the Super Bowl in their stadium.
This is stats-wise, okay? Offense, Rams are 9th, okay? Bengals are 13th. Pretty close, right? Offensive-wise. Defense, Rams are 17th. Bengals are 18th. Pretty close.
I think we could say this. The Rams have been playing a lot better the last couple weeks.
Sure. So is the Bengals, because they've won playoff games, right? So passing, Rams are 5th. Bengals are 7th. Rushing, Rams are 23rd, 25th, and Bengals are 23rd. So stat-wise, these teams are pretty comparable. Okay, sure. Let me finish. They're going. LA's. It's like a home game for them, And if you want a second mortgage, you can probably go to this game because you're paying no less than $5,000 to $10,000 for one ticket, and probably more. And that's nosebleed section.
Do you see what kind of crown I'm wearing? Okay, you think I can afford to go to this game?
Yeah, but
you think I can afford to go? You see the crown I purchased?
TV, right? We can barely watch it on TV, let alone. Do I have enough money to pay my bill for the next month? That's all I'm looking at. I need $50 right here. Okay. I think overall it's going to be a close game. I'm cheering for the Bengals to win, but I really think the Rams are going to win this game. Okay.
You sound so choked up to say that.
Picking the Bengals because I got to get at least a tie out of this. I can't let you win.
It took a lot out of you to say that. It took a lot. That took a lot,
kick
buddy.
in the gut, man. It's a gut punch right now. Seeing a team that we should have been going into the playoffs and winning.
Let's talk about real quick stats before we end here. Every game in the postseason, the Rams have a pick or have a turnover. Every game in the postseason so far. This defense has been playing way better than the regular season. 3 times better. And you're telling me they're at home for the Super Bowl? Even though I think they're the away team technically, but still, this is a home game. I get the Rams don't have the best fans either. They don't show up. But I hope they'll show up.
Fans there. You're gonna see fans from other teams at the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. For sure. But this is exciting. It's going to be a great Super Bowl. I am so happy. Like, my boy Stafford, like, literally, you sent me that GIF of that guy, which, by the way, that guy you sent me the GIF of, Stafford contacted him.
Did he?
Yeah, and is giving him an autograph jersey. I am so jealous.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that.
That was me during that game, screaming like, "Go, go!" I told
Jumping
my wife
up and down.
I told my wife, I mean, like, they gave him how many? 34 seconds. That is like 3 times too much. That is way too much time for stat. You gave him how much time? 2 timeouts too. Game's over. Game, it's over. He's going down. I've watched him do it in Detroit too many times. It's over. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for him and his family. He's got a great family. Complete opposite of the Mahomes. Screw the Mahomes. Got to get that in there before we close. But with that said, that's our picks for this week. They're not rock solid. They're not stapled in yet. Here's my bedazzled crown.
Listen,
for
everybody.
Now,
that's watching.
I might have my new crown by next episode. So
It's rock solid. Okay, there's no changing.
Maybe I'll change, and then you'll have to
Come on.
change.
Well, you're darn right. Then you're gonna make me pick LA.
Which I'm not.
I know.
Unless some catastrophic. Stafford's out. Stafford's out. He caught COVID. He's got to not play.
COVID. There's no COVID in the playoffs.
I know. You no longer have to be tested unless you're.
There's no COVID in the playoffs.
Unless you, you're showing symptoms, quote unquote. Are you showing symptoms? No. Oh, okay. Forget about it.
How many people were on the COVID list in the playoffs? Do we know? I mean,
Zero.
Seriously, you know what I mean? Yeah, right. So it's like if you're in the playoffs, there's no COVID. So
yeah, it is what it is. But with that said, everybody, I just want to say thank you for watching this cast on YouTube. Please like, comment, share. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. It means the world to us. Thumbs up.
Ups.
Hey, give me, even if you don't like it, I'll take a thumbs down. That means you watched it. You clicked
and then let us know why.
Yeah. Well, the comments be like, you suck, your picks suck.
Okay.
And I'll be like, hey, it's your opinion, but you suck. And
especially if it's vanillas. But I'm okay. I'll agree with that on vanilla if it's vanilla. Me, don't.
Nobody tells Duck he sucks but me.
We want to know.
Nobody. That's my job.
Yeah.
But you can say it in the comments if you agree. It's fine too. But hey, we really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week where we're talking salary cap. We're talking how the Pro Bowl went because I'm sure we're totally going to watch the first 10 minutes and not give a crap and turn it off. But we'll also be talking more about the Super Bowl, some interviews that happened before, all the good stuff. And we will see you guys next week. Stay safe. Have a good night. We'll see you guys next week.